Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a comparison of two budget offerings, the Oppo's Realme 1 with the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So in this video we'll compare all the aspects between these two devices and see which is the better device to buy in this price segment. So let's get started. So first up, let's have a look at the design and build quality. So looking at the design of these two devices, you can see that the Realme 1 looks a better design device with this back panel having this pattern which looks pretty good, and overall it is quite slim and shorter in terms of the length when compared to the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. You can see that the bezels are slightly higher on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, and this looks a bit more sleek here because of the lesser capacity battery. Now in terms of the build quality, that's where we have a bit of doubt here, because the Realme 1 has plastic or other fiber build quality, while we have the metal build on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So we are not sure about the durability of the Realme 1. The company says that this is really durable, but unless we use it for quite some time, we cannot say the durability of this. But the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 with metal construction feels quite solid and durable. So that was the design and build quality of these two devices. Now you can see in terms of the other aspects, you can see power keys are on the right side on both the phones. We have a dedicated SD card slot and two SIM cards on the right side on the Realme 1, while we have the volume keys on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now on the left side we have the triple slot on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, while we have volume keys on the Realme 1. The bottom panel houses the 3.5mm audio jack, the speaker unit, and the micro USB charging slot. The top panel does not have any openings or slots. Now next up, let's talk about the display. So both the phones have a 5.99-inch Full HD Plus resolution display, and both are 2.5D glass, and neither of them have any Gorilla Glass or protection offered, and the display quality looks quite good on both the phones. Brightness levels are a tad better on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1, which means outdoor visibility is also slightly better on the Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now touch response feels quite smooth on both the devices. Now next up, let's talk about the software. So we have the stock Android on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1, and we have a Color OS on top of Android 8.1 Oreo out of the box on the Realme 1. So if you're a person who loves customized software with a lot of customization options, including theme support, dual apps, then we have a lot of gestures supported, and a lot of additional customizations are also included, like the kids mode and features are included. So if you're a person who loves such UI, then the Oppo's Color OS looks good. But then the major issue with Oppo is that the update cycles are not really good, and Oppo seldom provides any major updates to their phone. So that is one issue. But if you're a person who loves customizations, Color OS is quite good. Now talking about the Zenfone's Zen UI or the stock Android on this device. So this device comes with stock Android, and the company is promising two major updates to the device. So that's something really good. And this has stock Android with no customizations whatsoever, and it's plain and stock UI. So it's quite responsive. And if you're a person who loves stock Android, the Zenfone Max Pro M1 will not disappoint. So that's the software aspect. Now talking about the performance. So both these devices have really good performing chipset. So we have the Zenfone Max Pro M1 running on Snapdragon 636, while we have Helio P60 octa-core chipset on the Realme 1. Now you can see the benchmark score. The Helio P60 is more powerful than the Snapdragon 636 in terms of outright performance on paper, but in real world both these devices are really good and does the job pretty well. And we have 6GB RAM as of now on the Realme 1, while the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 will get the 6GB RAM variant later. But as of now it comes in 4 and 3GB RAM, offering 32 and 64GB storage, and we have the 6GB RAM offered at 128GB of storage on the Realme 1 at almost the same price. So that's the benchmark. So now in the day-to-day performance, both these devices are really good, no major issues, no lags, and the gaming experience is really good on both the phones. So neither of them showed any sort of lagginess, although the Realme 1 temperature rise was slightly higher. It reached up to 46 degrees. Now both these devices have dual SIM cards for GLT and VoLTE support, and they have dedicated SD card slot as well. Now the speaker performance located at the bottom panel, we can see that the speaker on the Zenfone Max Pro M1 was slightly louder than the Realme 1, but Realme 1 did a good job with the speaker performance. Now the fingerprint scanner. So this device does not come with a fingerprint scanner. The Realme one skips the fingerprint scanner. Instead, it comes with only face unlock functionality. So face unlock works pretty well. It's really fast unless you are working in extreme dark conditions where the face unlock failed to unlock the device. So the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 has a fingerprint scanner located on the back panel, which is quite good. So the fingerprint scanner is definitely a missing aspect of the Realme one, because not because it misses out on the feature, because in extreme low light conditions unlocking via face is not really great and you have to use the pin. So that's the additional features. Now let's talk about the cameras. So we have a dual camera system on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1, 13 and 5 megapixel camera combination with f-stop 2.2 aperture, while we have a 13 megapixel camera on the Realme one with f-stop 2.2 aperture. Both have LED flash. Now the front panel, both these devices have 8 megapixel shooters. That's the camera hardware. Now talking about the camera samples we have taken with these two devices. So in daylight condition, we feel the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 was a tad better in terms of the overall clarity and sharpness. The Realme one does a quite good job overall. The exposure is not very accurate. At times it gets to overexpose the images, but with the Zenfone Max Pro M1, we feel the overall daylight captures is a tad better. Now talking about the low light performance, neither of these devices were really good in low light performance, but again we feel the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 was a tad better in terms of reducing the noise. Now selfie experience, here we feel the Realme one did a better job in terms of selfie performance, and the overall clarity of the selfies looked better on the Realme one when compared to the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now additionally, the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 also can record videos in 4K resolution, while the Realme one it is limited to 1080p. So camera, we feel in the rear camera we feel the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 has an edge, while in front camera the Realme one has an edge. Now finally talking about the battery. So this is one area where we have a clear winner. 3410 mAh capacity battery on the Realme one, while we have a 5000 mAh capacity battery on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So the clear winner in terms of battery performance is the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now summing up, which is the better device to buy here? Now the 3GB RAM and 32GB storage variant is priced 8,999 for the Realme one, while it's 10,999 for the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So there is a difference of 2K between these two devices for the base variant, and also the top end variant comes at 6GB RAM, which is priced 13,999, while the top end variant of the Zenfone Max Pro M1 is priced 12,999 for the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage. Now we also have an additional variant 4GB RAM and 64GB storage for the Realme one, which is priced 10,999. So pricing wise, definitely the Oppo Realme one is good, because it's a good budget offering, great performance all around, and decent overall experience. But the major issue is the update cycles, and the camera could have been a tad better, and battery is a smaller capacity. But this is where the Zenfone Max Pro M1 has an edge, because it has better software including update cycle and also higher capacity battery. So you have to decide which you want, which is your priority, and based on that you can decide between these two devices. So there is no clear winner according to us. Both have their own pros and cons. So based on that you can decide which is your priority, and then decide the device. So that was the detailed comparison of the Realme one with the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button for more videos. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.